Brilliance Audio presents Black Boy Out of Time, a memoir by Ziyad, performed by Deshaun Terry. "You're fine," the nurse had announced after running that first EKG. A $2,000 bill for a 10-block emergency vehicle ride, and 3 years later, here I was again. But I had learned my lesson. I walked to the medical center this time. "What was it that you started mentioning earlier?" the purple-haired doctor said, setting aside the papers that told her I was fine and giving me that smile white people give when they are sure they're helping you. "You don't get it," I wanted to say instead of answering her question. "I wake up every day feeling like Kano has pulled my heart from my chest in a Mortal Kombat fatality." "I forget," I replied honestly, looking forward to getting home and impulse buying a video game I would play only one quiet afternoon to manage my stress. When the doctor first had walked into the room, I'd tried to tell her that I had a medical concern, and she cut me off before I even got all the words out. "We have a set amount of time, so we need to jump right into the physical you scheduled. If there's extra time at the end, you can ask any other questions," she'd said, offering up that robotic smile again. The truth was, I already knew what was wrong with my heart. I had diagnosed myself with social anxiety a long time ago. I fit all the symptoms, and my anxiety had spiked in recent months with a decline in Mata's health and an uptick in public engagements. I'd had 2 panic attacks over the previous year. I feel the anxiety most in my chest. For the past several months, there had been a constant tightening there, as though my heart were cratering in on itself more and more for every wall I didn't punch but wanted to. My body recognizing that something must be smashed, even as I policed it into pacifism. I knew what was wrong, but I had refused to start psychotherapy or obtain an official diagnosis. Sure, this refusal might have been pathological, but not in the sense that Black people all have some disabling stigma around getting help for our mental health issues. Some of us do stigmatize therapy, thinking that it indicates a person is weak. The stigma seems less pervasive in recent generations, but I'm certain that it has infested my own thinking at times. I'm also sure there was more to my initial reluctance than an irrational disdain for therapy. After 500 years of the atrocities of colonialism and no repair, there must be more to Black folks' struggles than our own failures. How could talking with one person heal the wound of systemic and generational oppression that affects almost everyone I love? There's the very real history of medical malpractice. There's a legacy full of Tuskegee experiments and forced sterilization of Black women by doctors who lied to them. This was what North Carolina's state-run eugenics program did to 14-year-old Elaine Riddick in 1968, after she gave birth to a child conceived when a neighbor raped her. Riddick has spoken publicly about how she didn't find out she couldn't have any more children until 5 years later, after she was married. When the state isn't mining Black wombs for labor, it is policing them with the same brute force it uses against the Black children they birth. There are also the $2,000 ambulance bills and doctors who are hip enough to dress like young Black folks, but not hip enough to make time for our questions. There's growing up never having seen a doctor because of a lack of access, and no one to bring you gently into familiarity. There are doctors who disregard what we know about our bodies because they have anti-Black biases about what these bodies can do, deduce, and withstand. All of this is real. Most of it I've experienced firsthand, and it leads to a logical aversion to medical professionals, particularly those whose effectiveness relies on how much they get to know you, which means it also relies on how vulnerable you allow yourself to be.